This is one fun fact for each of the songs in the Deltarune soundtrack. Some of these are incredibly deep cuts and mostly just a bunch of niche random trivia you probably don't already know. So comment down below how many of these you've heard before, but I can guarantee that you'll learn something new here. Let's get right into it, starting with the ominous static in the background is actually sampled from Earthbound's Fight Against Gygus. The sound is played as a sound font instrument at varying different notes. The Gygus static is also used very briefly in Undertale's Amalgam. In music, an octave is divided into 12 semitones, which are basically the distance in pitch between two adjacent piano notes. Each semitone can be further divided into 100 cents, like a dollar, and we often refer to cents in regards to pitch and tuning. What does any of this have to do with beginning? Well, the entire song is tuned down by exactly 1 cent. It is 1/100th of a note off. Aren't you glad you know that now? Both Beginning and School are the only two songs in the Deltarune soundtrack whose file names begin with muse_, which is the naming convention used in Undertale's music files. Even Another Hymn is called audio_another hymn, as opposed to Undertale's muse_hymn file. I can't think of a clear reason why this would be, other than the implication that Beginning and School were created around the same time Toby was working on the Undertale soundtrack, but who knows? Quick, what Deltarune song is labeled in files as S_Neo? Did you guess Spamton Neo's battle theme, Big Shot? Well, you're wrong, it's actually Susie for some reason. The Door is titled as such because it plays when Chris and Susie come across the ominous doors leading to the dark worlds in both chapters. Where else does it play? In Castletown before you meet Ralsei, of course, naturally. This song has one instrument, the string sound font from Secret of Evermore. Awesome. This song uses the same melody as The Door, but the motif's contour and rhythm is echoed throughout World Revolving. Which kind of makes sense given as it's set up as a general dark world motif. With that being said, it also sounds very similar to Toby Fox's old song, Nightmare Night. And it even uses a similar sound font from Kirby Superstar. There is a piano very faintly in the background of this song. Can you hear it? I sure can't. Here's what it sounds like with just the piano. Lancer is the first song in this soundtrack whose name in the files directly matches the official title of the song. This song has 5 different pianos, many of which play simultaneously. Empty Town is the first song in the soundtrack to be in 3/4 time signature, not counting the ending of the legend, but most of that song is in 4/4. Arguably the best song on this soundtrack, Weird Birds consists of a singular sine wave with just a bunch of delay and reverb on it. I could give you an actual music fact here, but it's funnier to point out that this is the one and only song where the title is displayed in this cool little pop-up. I know we all played Chapter 1 and we're like, oh, that's so cool, we get to see the name of the songs now. Nope, just this one. But also, in the game, the title is displayed as The Field of Hopes and Dreams, as opposed to the official title of the song on the soundtrack, just Field of Hopes and Dreams. This song is from the soundtrack of Rose of Winter, which, I know it says that in the title, but did you know that the reason it cuts off like that is because it's just the beginning of a full minute-and-a-half long song? This is, for some reason, the only other song in the soundtrack that shares Rude Buster's motif. This beautiful masterpiece of compositional artistry is the second shortest song in Chapter 1, tied with Your Power almost exactly when you cut out the silence at the beginning. Checker Dance uses the sound font of Mystical Ninja starring Goemon. It's one of only 2 songs in Deltarune to do so, and there are no Undertale songs with this sound font either. Quiet Autumn is the second song in this soundtrack, whose name in the files directly matches the official title. Scarlet Forest is the first song in either Undertale or Deltarune to use the Squid Font orchestral sound font, which is basically just a bunch of realistic sounding orchestral instruments. The only other Deltarune song that currently uses these instruments, surprisingly enough, is Big Shot. The piano here is from Super Mario World. This is the first instance of a Super Mario World instrument in the Deltarune or Undertale soundtrack, with the only prior instance being absolutely overfamiliar Shrine from the PS4 version of Undertale. At a tempo of 180 BPM, this is the fastest song in Deltarune Chapter 1. Just kidding, it's the fastest song in the soundtrack so far, but we'll get to the actual record holder in a bit. Basement is the first song in the soundtrack that has literally nothing interesting about it. I mean, whose favorite Deltarune song is Basement? I don't think those people exist. Along with The Door and Digital Roots in Chapter 2, this song pretty clearly references the You Idiot motif from Undertale. And come to think of it, that motif is used in a pretty similar manner throughout Deltarune, underscoring ominous and tense situations. The guitar in this song is from the Ultimate Guitar Kit V2 sound font and basically just uses the default FL Studio amp with certain layers having a bit of flanger on them. Card Castle is the first song in the Deltarune soundtrack that could actually be played on a real NES sound chip. Empty Town is pretty close, but as far as I can tell, it has one too many pulse wave channels, of which the NES sound chip can only support 2. Rules Card is labeled in the files with its Japanese name, which is interesting considering the game is written in English and then translated into Japanese. April 2012 was composed, believe it or not, in 2012. It was made for a Homestuck-related project, Pitch Down, and labeled Demo Scene. It is one of 2 songs you can find on the GitHub repository for this project, the other being a sound file named Muscles, which I kid you not, sounds like this. Yeah, April 2012 and Sans' theme have the same origin. Hip Shop is such a chill and relaxing song. It is also the fastest song in Deltarune Chapter 1, and this time I'm not joking. It is composed at 194 BPM, which is faster than the world revolving. Gallery is the shortest song in Deltarune Chapter 1, being only 12 seconds long. This song prominently features 2 electric guitar instruments. One of them originates from the Final Fantasy Mystic Quest sound font. The other is from Super Mario Kart. What does Darkness Falls have in common with Another Hymn and Before the Story? Their file names share the prefix audio underscore. Very interesting. On the official soundtrack release, The Circus plays at 140 BPM, but in-game it actually plays at 119.5 BPM and is pitched down as such. I could go the route of telling you that The World Revolving is just Gaster's theme arranged into a full melody a la Andrew Cunningham, but instead I have a more interesting fun fact. According to interviews with Toby Fox, he originally tried making Deltarune in 2012, using the character designs of the Card Kingdom Darkners. While Jevil was not designed just yet, Toby revealed that he had composed a few songs for this 2012 game, including one titled Joker Battle, which was later repurposed into Heartache in Undertale. The World Revolving is still labeled as Joker in the files. In other words, Heartache was the original World Revolving. This isn't the only Toby Fox song titled Friendship. There's a song on Toby Fox's old website from before Deltarune that goes like this. It's notable because it has the Nightmare Night motif, which we talked about earlier as being very similar to the Dark World motif. I would also like to smoothly transition into the next song, The Holy. You see, this song also has ties to Toby Fox's old website. There was an early version of The Holy titled Treasure Discovered that sounds like this. The fact that Friendship and The Holy are both right next to each other in the game and soundtrack, and they both have ties to the old Toby Fox website, and Friendship has a similar motif to the Dark World melody, it makes me wonder if the original Toby Fox Friendship was supposed to play in this scene of Deltarune, and it was later replaced with a new song that has the main theme of the game. That's my little conspiracy anyways. Your Power is the only song on the soundtrack whose file name has the prefix sound underscore, which is the prefix used for sound effects in Deltarune. This is the longest track that plays in the Light World as of chapters 1 and 2. It's also the longest track that exclusively uses the SGM sound font. In other words, real sounding instruments rather than video game sound fonts. The only other Chapter 1 song that does this exclusively is Basement. But like I said, nobody likes Basement. This song is labeled in the files as Home, but I guess he couldn't just call it that because that name's already taken. To be fair though, the Undertale version of Home has the file name muse_house1. Is any of this interesting? How many of these do we have left? The woman singing this song composed the Plants vs. Zombies soundtrack. Before the Story isn't actually a Deltarune song at all. It was on the Undertale Collector's Edition exclusive soundtrack, and also the dynamic theme for the PlayStation version of Undertale. So with that said and done, that was 40 facts for each of the 40 Deltarune Chapter 1 songs. If you want to see the next part of this series, in which we'll predictably cover Chapter 2's soundtrack, subscribe to this channel because I post weekly Deltarune content. And with the next chapters right around the corner, I'll be uploading even more frequently. If you'd like to support the channel directly, you can use the Patreon, where for as little as $1 a month, you can get access to all the videos early. Thank you for watching till the end, and I'll see you all next week.